Hi guys, welcome to Fanboy 3. We're here with Connor and he's going to be doing some pack openings. Go ahead, Con.
I don't even know what episode this is. Local.
I think it's like 7 or 8.
7 or 8. We got 6 Ignition Assault, 3 Shells in Valhalla, 1 Dark Neo Storm, because I need a common from it, and Spell Rulers.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah, I always open out Legacy Pack. Every week I pull this.
It's your destiny to build a deck, Con. What can we say?
It is waifu.
It is waifu.
Best waifu.
She's legal as well.
Is she?
Oh, you get a giant claw back in No.
I like this card.
Nice.
Have you read this card? It's broken.
I have not. I will have a look at
If
that.
your opponent adds a card from the deck to the hand, you can activate it. Add any card from your deck to hand.
Oh, that's cool.
It searches anything.
Nice. It's nice
You
generic.
can just search a Nibiru.
Could you have opened that any more messy?
No, I could not have opened that any worse than this.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, camera's gone off a bit. I'm hoping we're still live.
Yeah, it will be. It just goes to standby save battery.
Cool. Ignition Assault.
Another Ignition Assault.
What are you after from Ignition Assault, Con?
Another Lightning Storm.
Like the one I just pulled earlier this week.
Yeah, I pulled one. I pulled one last
sold
week.
people of eBay.
I pulled.
There's a card opening.
I've just pulled a Starlight Rose. Oh my fucking god!
There you go, guys. Apparently my luck is rubbing off
My
on other people.
second Starlight Rare. Let's fucking go.
There you go, bro. There's a
Oh
sleeve.
my god, let's go. My second Starlight Rare ever.
Well done, Con. Hope you're happy. I can see a tear about to form from his
Oh
eyes,
my
ladies
god,
and gentlemen.
hell fucking yes. But it wasn't a lightning storm. It wasn't a lightning storm, but do I care?
He's got a squeak notice on
They're
him.
about
Legitimately the rarest card right now.
they're about £200.
All heard all of that as well. It was very loud.
Let's go. They're 1 per case and a half. It's about 1,000 packs to get one of these.
Okay, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'll admit.
I don't know how much they are. I think they're like 200.
Oh yeah, just casual.
Just casually like 200. Come on, Invocation.
No. Nupwa Invocation.
I only want Invocation because I like 20 quid. I've got my ulties.
Opening a golden bamboo sword.
I remember when this came out and I bought like 50 of them.
Shit. Let's go on card market. Free plug to card market.
Nice, Bill.
Nice.
Right, I want a common. I need Sign It
common.
Mining, but there is a common I need in this set.
What is the common?
The Guard Dragon. No.
Which guard dragon?
The Guard Dragon Fusion,
Oh, okay.
if you've got it.
I do not have it. Never came across that. I know. Just look at that. Just look at it. That's pretty.
Manju.
Manju.
Oh my god, I don't even care.
Just
Holy
go on.
shit.
That's it. Flex the camera. No, show them your face. Look at this face. Look at him. He's so excited.
So after that intro where I act like a complete and utter bellend, we actually move on to the main event, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself, the children's card game that you've more than likely clicked on here for. And we start off with game 1 against Shadow Invoked. We're playing the usual Subterra list. The list we've played for the last couple of weeks. You can check all of those videos on my channel as well. Starting off with a standard combo. We Duality into a Strike, we City into a Guru into the combo piece we're missing. We have the Phoenix in hand, so we search the final battle. This is pretty much the optimal setup with Subterras. So while my opponent goes ahead and starts his turn, we're going to have a little chat about the game itself. So coronavirus is a thing, and it's not something that I particularly wanted to talk about, but we have got a 50-something minute video here, so I'm pretty sure we can do a little commentary on it, talking about exactly what it's done. So this list was the list I was going to take throughout all of the regionals in March, as well as possibly nationals and possibly Euros, you know, depending on ban lists and if I discover something that's nice and exciting during Master Rule 5, because that will be available when we play Euros. And yeah, with all the ban lists and stuff, I felt that this deck was safe, and that's kind of why I've learned how to play Subterras and have played Subterras for quite a while. I make a few mistakes in this, and it's always a good thing to record your videos, because you can see, you know, you can watch it back while I'm editing this. and I'm watching it, I realise the amount of ways I could have got to the same board, but with like less mistakes or done it a different way. And it's always good to record it, but coronavirus has basically cancelled a lot of events. We have booked to go to Euros, and I'm hoping it doesn't get cancelled. But if it gets cancelled, it's fine. We'll either get a refund or we will still go to Poland and just explore the Polish city itself. But the annoying thing is it has also cancelled all of the regionals that I had tested for and planned for, and that was sort of the purpose of this mini-series, if you'd like, of me recording locals, chatting to everyone at locals, trading and stuff, recording it so you guys can see how locals work if you don't go to locals, or how, you know, locals work down here at Fanboy 3 in Manchester if you're interested in the store, or if you maybe have an event coming up at Manchester, regional event coming up at Manchester at some point, because they do host official Konami tournaments here. So, you know, it's licensed. You know, regionals do happen here quite a lot. So I'm kind of annoyed, kind of upset that all of that's happened, but it is inevitable at this point. They're talking about possibly changing some stuff with locals, so that might affect the series itself with regards to when I upload, how much I upload, etc. Because who knows when the last time I will actually be able to go to locals and record before that happens. Whether that be because I can't get there because of trains, whether that be that I can't get there because they have shut the store, or whether I can't get there because of my job, because they might be closing the place where I work and I might not even be able to physically get there. You know, this stuff is serious, and you know, you should just be safe and respect your opponent, and don't go to the stores if you're not feeling too well, even if it's just the smallest thing. You've woke up with a headache. You know, be safe. I know you see all the jokes on Facebook, on Zodiac, on, you know, YouTube. People are making the mick of it, and some of the jokes are absolutely hilarious. I'm not going to lie, but it is quite a serious thing, especially looking into it. And you should take as many precautions as you can because it is potentially life-threatening. Moving on to my opponent here, I Solemn Strike the Alistair. He invocations into, I believe, the Shadow that requires two Shadow monsters. He triggers a bunch of effects off in the grave, gets a set Shadow. He attacks into the Guru here. We chain the trap to boost it to 34. The monster shouldn't have been destroyed, but for some reason it has been destroyed. You know, little errors and stuff like that is fine at local level, but it's something I didn't catch at the time, and obviously he didn't catch. Here he declares, I believe, an effect to destroy something and all that, and I feed this it, and he just goes, you know what, this hand is that bad, and scoops, and we go straight to game 2. I was like, oh, okay. Didn't expect that. He gets to go first here, this time. Not optimal when you're playing a control deck. However, he sets one and passes. We draw a Pot of Absolute Brilliantness, Pot of Extravagance itself, getting a reprint as well in Toon Chaos. Looking forward to that set, not for the reprint of Extravagance, but for all these new shiny tunes. We adjust the camera here because I was rushing a lot of these recordings today, so I think there's one of the games later on where the recording itself is horrible during my turn, but I rectify it during his turn. So we Extravagance to 2, we Twin Twist as his back row, and we set a bunch of cards and eventually pass over to my opponent. Little upsetting we didn't see a monster here or get to do anything. So he starts with the Terraforming, searches the Magical Meltdown. He's met with the Droll. Droll is so good in the Invoked matchup. Drolling at this point in the game, or at this point in the combo, should I say, means that you obviously can't get the search off Alistair, and you can't do much with regards to the Shadows. With regards to Subterror itself, has an amazing matchup against the Shadow Invoke because you special summon like once every blue moon, so they don't ever get to send the materials from the deck, which forces them to reuse the resources from hand and the resources from grave. So Subterror is a very good matchup for the Shadow match itself. We get another Extravagance here, but still no monsters. So we now have 4 back row, but we have Drew and Ash for the Meltdown, so he is not getting Alistair this turn either. Jolly, jolly good. That is exactly what you need to do in this. He has an El Shadow Fusion as a follow-up play. Sorry about that. And we keep looking at the back row. He sends the materials. He summons a construct here. I believe that's a construct, or is it a winder? No, it is a construct. And we call by the grave the, I believe, squamata in the grave that was going to trigger. And, you know, we move on. Again, with regards to just stuff in general, I'm just not feeling very well today. Don't worry, I don't have coronavirus. I've got a bit of a runny nose, and it is causing me to be a bit more down. So if I'm stumbling more on words than I usually am, that's the reason. He eventually will send something to pop a card here. We just change the call by and stop that. Well, he's going to swing at me with the construct for 2,800 damage. Big damage. You know, it's tough. The thing with the Subterra deck, which I love, is once it gets going, it's really hard to beat. You know, you just keep your negations to protect your back row, play around the floodgates, and it's really good. But if you don't see a monster or a way to get to the monster, which you play a lot of them, don't worry, you know, you play 3 Hidden City, you play your Terraforming, you play 3 Guru, your 3 Fiendish, your Ummastrix sometimes, your Nemesis Archer. You play a lot of ways to get to it. Some people opt for set rotation Metaverse, something that I've been testing for a while. But sometimes you just don't see it. You just draw all your Solemns, and there's only so much Solomon you can do before your opponent eventually just swings at you with something, and that's that. And I believe that is exactly what is going to happen here. So we've, of course, taken the 28. We've paid 15 for a strike here. He gets to banish a damage juggler to search himself a Trickety Trick Clown. My favourite card. I also want to point out with this Perform Age engine here, they really need to give Hat Tricker the rarity bump that it has been deserving, and it's a card that I've been seeing for a very long time. Maybe in OTS 13. Maybe. It's a card that I love. It makes the Choy a beast, and I love that card. Moving on to that, he eventually will activate the Foolish of the Burial here. I believe I have a Solemn Judgment set, but I was in a two-way scenario here because I could have Judgmented the Foolish, but he would have attacked with Construct for game. So I just let it go through, and he's eventually going to summon a lot of monsters, and eventually will be just beating over me. He's going to get the effect of one of the Shadow's Engraved, add one to hand. I believe he adds a Squamata here. And, you know, it's tough. When you don't open a monster, you're going to lose. And that's pretty much what's going to happen here. Moving on real quickly, he summons the Trickety Trick Clown. Good old Trickety Trick Clown. He's going to make a link 2 into, I believe, the sheep here. Big boy sheep, love the sheep. And we're going to Solemn Strike the sheep. So we've taken 1500, 1500, and 28 here. So here he gets to banish. The Trick Clown will summon itself, and here he gets to banish the trap, and I believe Construct will add the El Shadow Fusion back. And then I think eventually he will banish the stuff to summon back the Construct, and then he just has to swing at that point, because we've taken just shy of 6,000 at this point, so it's tough. He might even just be able to El Shadow Fusion it. We were in a losing scenario from pretty much the get-go with this board, and I think that is what he does here. So he El Shadow Fusions both of these into Construct, and we will just accept our fate. Well, sorry. We Solemn Judgment the El Shadow Fusion, and I'm a bit confused as to what's going on myself now. I think there was a weird interaction here because I attempted to Solemn Judgment. I think I said I wanted to Solemn the Summon, and he said you can't Solemn the Summon, and then I said about summoning the Fusion, and then he said you can't under Meltdown, and there was a bit of a weird interaction here of what going on. Irregardless, this is game whether the summon goes through or not. He is way ahead on resources here. We have next to nothing left. He'll just beat over me at this point. Get on with it because we know it's coming. With 2 back row left, and I believe one of them is a Twin Twisters, I believe, or a final battle. Irregardless, it's not going to be doing anything across this summon. I believe he'll let the solemn go through, but he will just summon the construct back anyway and attack for game. So here's the here we go. So here's the aerial. This is the combo that I thought was coming. So then he banishes the trap, which I can't remember what it's called. Resh something. Resh. I'm gonna Google it real quick. Resh. Shidol Resh. I want to say Reshiram, but that's a Pokemon. Shidol Resh. I'm gonna search Resh. Resh Shidol Incarnation. There you go. I knew it was Resh something. Anyway, yeah. So he summons that, and just keep him to game 3. He starts. I let him go first here, because I was testing things. That was the purpose of this. It's the purpose of locals for me, is to test. So I wanted to see how it can break boards as such with cards like Evenly Matched and Nibiru, etc., etc. So he starts with the Invocation, summoning a Shadol fusion monster, and he gets to set an aerial from his deck. I check what it was here. It is, of course, the aerial. He gets to send a Resh, I believe, and he will activate Resh, or one of the effects to flip the aerial, more than likely here. Standard Shadow combo. I'm still trying to learn it off the top of my head, but I will get there. I think he starts with the Damage Juggler to search himself the Trickety Trick Clown. Good old Trickety Trick Clown. Does he normal the Trick Clown? Yeah, he normals the Trick Clown, and here he makes a Link 2. Probably into the sheep. Sheep. There he is, big sheep. I hope this gets an OTS 13 Super as well, or possibly maybe a higher rarity, maybe a secret rare, like a Battles of Legend or something like that. Maybe? I don't know. It definitely deserves a rarity bump. One of those rares that shouldn't be a rare, similar to like Sunlight Wolf. But at the same time, like, if they give it a super, it might hurt the value a lot. Like, I can't remember what rare Sunlight Wolves dropped to when it got the OTS Super, but I know it was significantly less. And Ignition Assault doesn't really have too much carry in it right now. Bar Lightning Storms, Gizmek, I suppose. And then, to be honest, probably Cross Sheep. Here he has to flip the aerial and summon back one banished Shadol. So he summons back the construct that he banished, which triggers the Cross Sheep effect, because Cross Sheep's effect triggers when a monster is special summoned, not when a monster is fusion summoned or synchro, etc. So you can go ahead and make sure it's pointing to a fusion, then special summon something, and it will trigger the effect targeting the fusion to use the effect to revive a level 4. Standardy cross sheepy things. For those of you that didn't know that interaction, it is really good. And here he sets a card, and he has a decent board here. He links these 2 cards off here, the cross sheep, and that into Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. Love this card. I don't know why he did it, but he did it. So I think he had like a big brain play going on, and then realised it doesn't work. So you got to think plays through sometimes. So he continues to scroll through the extra deck after cutting probably a minute and a half out of the play of him literally going, I think I messed this up. It happens sometimes, we all mess up. He eventually will link these 4 off into what I presumed would be an Appaloosa, but it wasn't, it was a Moral Sword. So I was like, oh, okay, Moral Sword is fine. He activates Invocation, banishing the cards from the grave to trigger the effect for an invoked fusion, I believe. Summoning an invoked Mechaba, he will banish, I believe, Alistair, and I think it's Trick Clown he banishes. Irregardless, he will be summoning a Mechaba from this. It is the Trick Clown. See, I remember these things. Summons the Mechaba, and passes to me. Doesn't use the Invocation effect to get back the Alistair, but it's not gonna matter anyway, because, drumroll please, Come on, stop contemplating. You know what to do. You know what to do, Connor. Super Poly! Getting rid of a construct and a Mechaba for a construct of my own. That is big brain plays. It's not. I've now realised it's a horrible thing to do. Especially if your opponent knows what to do, because they can then trigger the Stall effect. Don't Super Poly into a construct, people. Do not take this as a good idea. This was my small brain going through my binder going, this might work. And it does work, but it doesn't benefit you at all. They get to trigger a bunch of effects off, and it is pretty horrible. Construct will attack the Barrel Sword. The effect will happen. He goes to call by his construct in the grave, and I was like, you can't. It has to be mine. It has to be effect in your opponent's grave, so in my grave in this case. He lets the Moral Sword die. I set a bunch of cards. He literally has the Call by and the card that he top decked, which is Magical Meltdown. He activates Meltdown. We meet it with the Solemn Judgment, and he just scoops, which is understandable. He has nothing at this point as we move on to game number 2. Against the mightiest heroes in the whole of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. Heroes, very popular deck right now, looking like one of maybe the better decks to take into Master Rule 5 as well. We will see. We will see Master Rule 5 right around the corner. I have been working on Master Rule 5 deck that maybe I'll do a deck profile on before Master Rule 5's out. So we do the great set 4 and pass, you know, when you break in Subterrors and you set 4 and pass, and then your opponent activates Lightning Storm. It's great. Doesn't activate Lightning Storm, by the way. He activates Faris, discarding Malicious, getting himself a Vision Hero in the Spell and Trap, and we flip the win condition. There can be only one. Phenomenal card against heroes. They are 99% heroes, to truthfully be honest, with maybe the exception of, you know, 1 or 2 of the extra deck, and 1 or 2 of maybe the main deck. They do have a hard time outing cards like there can be only one. And eventually, you know, he can't do nothing. He can't summon the Malicious, he can't summon the Vision Hero in the Spell and Trap Zone, but we don't draw a monster, so we set 1 and pass, and it goes straight over to my opponent, who starts the Increase Beatdown. That's this game for you. Increase Beatdown. So, he pokes with Increase here. We get to do the old damage calculation, moving our mic around there. And we draw for turn. And thankfully, after, you know, checking the Spell and Trap Zone 1,000 times, we do actually draw a monster that we get to set. Yes, monsters. You know, you kind of need them to win, you know, even in decks like Paleo, you still have a Frog Engine. You know, it's like 95% trap, you still have monsters, and you still want to see them. He eventually attacks over the mighty set Droll Not Bird, and we adjust the camera here, and he passes over to me, who, again, you know, just not doing a lot. Pass back over to my opponent, he draws, continues the Increase Beat Down. You know, the Faris is over there doing a whole lot of nothing, Malicious is in there doing a whole lot of nothing, and he doesn't need to do anything. He will attack with Increase again, dealing the damage directly because we have no monsters, and will eventually just pass back over to me. Heroes are something I've tested for Master Rule 5, and I just don't like it. They do a lot of things, but they restrict you into only summoning heroes, and I just feel like it's not as good. Pass to my opponent attacks with the Vision Hero again, and he eventually will set a mysterious card, and pass to me, who will draw and scoop, because, you know, you need monsters. You do kind of need them. And we go to game 2, and this is looking like I've repeated the recording. I've not. I just brick again. He activates the Fusionist of the Destinyists. Good card, I hear. I hear it's a good card. He gets to send himself a copy of Malicious to the grave, as well as something else, I believe. You know, getting Malicious in grave, turn 1, summoning a big shiny boy. These are the things you don't want to happen when you have no monsters. So he eventually will shuffle his deck 1,006 times and will eventually summon out the Dystopia. Every time somebody fusion destinies, I always think they're just going to go straight for Malicious Bane. I keep forgetting this weird combo with the Dystopia where it like burns you for 20-something hundred. We flip another trap here. I think it's another, there can be only one. He gets to banish the Malicious. Is it the Malicious? Or is it the other one that boosts its attack? Yeah, it's the one that boosts its attack, and that this thing can like reduce its attack to negate a card and destroy a card. So he just destroys the There Can Be Only One here. An interaction I didn't know existed, but it did. From here, he's going to pretty much full combo me, and it's not looking good. He summons the Vion. We Solemn Strike the Vion, because, you know, all about that solemn life here in the Subterrors. We don't need Subterrors. It's not even Subterrors anymore. It's just Solemns. There's no monsters. It's just Solemns. Yeah, it doesn't win a lot. No, okay, it wins a lot. So he attacks, passes over to me. Duality. Yes. Come on. Extra, there can be only one. I don't want any of those. I literally don't want any of those. Anyway, so yeah, it's just not good. He ashes it anyway, I believe. But after reviewing it, I wasn't really bothered. Pass over to him. He summons a Vion. He has another Vion after the Solemn Strike. You know, the life of actually opening monsters. As you can see, the arms are going for me. I'm not a happy chappy at all. So we've taken 15 off the strike. We've taken the attack of the Dystopia, which was, I believe, boosted off something, and then it might have been not boosted off the negate and destroy effect. Something along those lines. I still don't know what it does. We start messing around with dice because, you know, I've not really got much else to do here. As he eventually is going to just proceed to just beat me. And that's literally nothing cut out of the game. That is the whole 2 games. I was salty, not gonna lie. But we move on to round 3 against Heroes again. You know, we don't like this. I hate playing the same decks over and over again, especially when it's not a tier 1, tier 0 format. Like when it's such a diverse format and you still play the same decks, it's very annoying. But haha, we already have opened better than the last 2 games. Never mind. We extrav to the city to the guru effect. Yes, please. You have a hand trap? No? Fine, I'll search a hand trap. We search a Subterra Fiendus. We love searching the Fiendus. We love when our opponent doesn't have anything. We set a small army, enough to take down a 7-nation army. They can't hold me back. I'm getting far too excited now. He discards Malicious to summon Faris. I get salty. Why Heroes? Heroes again? Are you taking the mick? Yeah, it's a little bit repetitive. We call by the Malicious. Straight away, we're not letting him combo off the Mallies. We just continue to move our extra decks around. Here he increases the Faris to increase. I don't actually know the correct way of it going. I think increase tributes the Faris to summon. Something along those lines. Anyway, he eventually gets to summon the Vion. We solemn that one. Solemn that Vion. Gotta keep solemning the Vions. He asks, did I solemn the effect or solemn the summon? I'm solemning the summon of the Vion, my good sir. He activates Fusion Destiny. Of course he has the Fusion Destiny as an extender. We're gonna Fiendus the Fusion Destiny. You know, just try and cut him out of resources here. And that was the plan. You know, how much more could he extend off no Mally, no Fusion Destiny? You know, that was the plan. But did it work? That is the big question. He has the mass change. Now, mass change is a little bit of a problem. Subterrors do like to search quite a lot. If you do ever play against Subterrors, you know, side in them drolls. It's good. We contemplate for a while. and we actually solemn judgment the mask change. Kind of a big call. Paying this many life points early into it is pretty big. However, he just passes. He doesn't want to attack into my guru, which we eventually get to flip summon off the City of Hidden and use his effects to search ourselves a copy of Venus again. The big girl that says no, and yeah, she says no to anything. It's great. Who doesn't love a solemn on legs? Part of the reason this Subterra deck is actually pretty good. We beat over the increase with Big Boy Guru here. Big Man Guru beating. We set a mysterious card. No, we don't, sorry. We summon the mysterious card, which is actually a Guru. Now, the reason I did this was so that one of the Gurus, doesn't matter which one, could actually use its effect to set itself another card. Meaning to set whatever he normal summoned. But he does set something, so we end up setting both Gurus. And we just do a natural flip summon here, and Guru's effect will trigger, such in a final battle. We already have the Phoenix in hand because he did nothing in his last turn. So, it's looking promising here. We go ahead and flip the Guru again. We set a mysterious card. Ooh, mysterious card. Guru attacks, beaten over, and Guru will attack directly for 16 as well. Thinking about it now, we probably could have searched a Nemesis Archer here. Oh, sorry, he triggers an effect engraved to search, which we ash. Then we attack with the Guru. Could have possibly searched the Archer here just to shuffle it back. He's gonna get the Pharos here, and I think this is where we make a slight mistake. I was under the impression that the increase that you summon off it here, this increase right here, is equipped to it, and it's not. It's just summoned as in the spell and trap zone. So I was wrong to believe it, and I was also unaware that it was a quick effect. So yeah, so here I point out that this will be gone if it's not equipped because it's face down now. Which, you know, he then told me it's not equipped, it's just activated in the spell and trap zone. So, you know, learning curves. Learning curves everywhere. So, he still can't do anything off it, because he can't tribute it now. So we go ahead and search, we'll go ahead and flip the Guru here, and we'll get a search for a Nemesis Archer, which we could have searched last turn, and done it, but instead we searched the final battle. We also could have, like, flipped the Guru up on my turn with the final battle, and, you know, potentially got another search here. We attack, use the effect to shuffle it back in the grave. No, you are back in the deck. You are not hitting the grave and getting any graveyard effects, my good sir. We attack with 16, and we attack with a boosted one for 34. That's a big load of damage. That's 5k plus the 16 he'd taken last turn. That's 6,700 he's taken at this point. Set a mysterious card, pass to my opponent, who will just scoop. And we go on to game 2. Fast forwarding the 95-minute combo that thy hero player does. Standard combo, I believe. There's nothing exciting that goes on here. He gets the Cross Crusader, get Tribute, Dust to Militia, get a Stratos Search, blah 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 blah. Hero things. Lots of hero things. We don't like hero things. Hero things are annoying. But it's a long combo. He gets the Malicious Bane, links these off into the Dread, and passes to me, ends on a Bane, and I believe is a Dread Designator, the Link 3. To which we activate the Pot of Extravagance. The card that I just seem to draw every game that I need it, and then seem to draw the exact things I need off the Extravagance. I love Extravagance. I mention it every video. You can go back and watch every time I play something. I love it. And you might have seen that in my hand there kind of was a Super Poly again. So we Super Poly his board away here, which is a fusion monster and a dark, I believe. Of course, the fusion itself was dark, so we had options. We could have summoned the Starving Venom, or we could have summoned a Dragastapelio. You know, we have options, and we like options. And we eventually do decide to go for the Dragostapelio. Also would like to point out, I played Super Poly and Dragostapelio for the longest time, and this is the first time I've ever actually summoned it. So we attack with the Dragostapelio for, I don't even know what attack it's on, you know. I play it that much, but don't ever use it. I want to say like 24, 28. He activates the 20 of the Twisters here, targeting the 2 back row. We Solemn Judgment that. We can't be having our back row being destroyed. Which sometimes that means he values the back row too much. If your opponent has 2 and they Solemn Judgment it, it means that they value the back row so much. So the Dragostapelio here will give it a counter negating it, and he just scoops. That is that. That is Heroes done and dusted. Here is that game that I was talking about earlier, where the camera angle is absolutely horrendous. Don't worry, I do rectify it. And I can attempt to tell you what's going on. So, we extra, he doesn't negate it. We draw 2, we activate the Hidden City. We search a Subterra, we search more than likely Guru, we set the Guru, we flip the Guru, we get a Guru search. This is pretty much standard stuff. I could have turned the camera the other way round and said I did Subterra combo, and you still would know exactly what's going on. Nothing exciting is going on. If you've ever played Subterras, or played against Subterras, you know exactly what's going on. The only thing that's a bit like, oh, okay, is I search a final battle and not a Fiendus, which, like I said last week, and I probably said again during this video, if your opponent doesn't search the Fiendus, they've already got the Fiendus. So that's why I didn't search Fiendus, for anyone that's wondering that. We set a small army of back row, standard Subterra things, nothing out of the ordinary. And then I noticed that the camera is basically facing the floor. We put it up, and we move. And we are playing, you of course seen it, but I didn't know at this point. Drum roll please. Da, 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 da. It's Heroes. Yeah. So I really wasn't happy playing it for the second time, and now we're playing it for the third time, and of course he had the Mali that he has to discard off the Varus. Of course he did. He wouldn't have anything else now, would he? That's like the optimal opening. Oh, sorry, as far as I'm aware. He gets the increase, and here we go ahead and flip one of our face downs, which is the final battle. We chain the Guru to set the Varus. And here he activates the increase, and I ask, can you even do that? Is it a quick effect? Turns out it is a quick effect, and I was a bit wrong, and the guy that we played earlier probably should have done that. But he didn't, and we won, so we move. He continues the standard hero combo, as you can see here. We'll fast forward in it. You've seen it like 4 times already in this video. You don't need to see it again. Send some stuff to the grave, banishing Mali, summoning Mali, searching Stratos midway through the combo, all the standardy stuff. The only issue here, to what made it slightly different if you'd like, here he of course banishes the Destiny Hero Malicious to summon a Destiny Hero Malicious from the deck. And here he normal summons Stratos, and instead of declaring the effect to search, he declares the effect to pop 3, but we have to Solemn Strike that. We can't let that go through now, can we? However, he still has a lot of stuff on board and can still do a lot of things. That is literally the only bit of interaction I believe that we had. We know, of course, that the other face down, the mysterious face down that is underneath the Guru, is the final battle. Because we activated it earlier in the turn, we of course have our Guru set. So it means we're not doing that. We've had plenty of opportunities already to ash him. We've had plenty of opportunities already to droll him. So it means we're not really doing a lot. So here he gets the Dread. He summons the Mali. He's going to use the effect of Dread more than likely to tribute a Destiny hero from the field. Is it from the field or what's pointed? I think it's just from the field, I believe. So tributes the Mali that he gets to summon back and gets to add himself. I think it's any hero to hand or something like that. Anyway, he gets the Adusted Gold. The big boy. The boy I seem to pack a lot when I open LED. Should probably open more of it because, you know, it is a valuable card. My nose is running so badly. Sorry about that. And he makes a link of 3 into the Dread Designator. The big boy. I believe Hero's getting a new link in Dual Overload. I just made that up, but I swear they are. Here he activates the Darkest Calling, banishing 2 from the grave to summon the Malicious Bane, the big boy Malicious Bane himself. Malicious Bane is a good card. It's kind of why heroes like got the extra hype, because summoning Malicious Bane is really, really, really good. And I kind of am gonna struggle to possibly out, a big monster like Malicious Bane. But Subterrors do well at outing things that they shouldn't. And here he has the effect. Here he has the 2. He declares an attack into the face down. We use the hidden city to negate the attack, and we use the effect of Guru to search ourselves any Subterror. We search ourselves a Fiendus here. I believe we already have a Fiendus in hand as well. And with that, he gets to swing over it with the Malicious Bane, and it's just not looking good for us. He has the Designator, and he has the Malicious Bane, and we have nothing but the final battle here. So we draw for turn. The big draw. Is it the card we need? Do you believe in the heart of the cards? I already can tell you now, I know what happens, but this was the combo that like straight comes to my head at this point. So we ask him what exactly is happening here, what's protecting, what is gaining attack, what make sure that the combo works. We continue to shuffle our hand for a while. We have to think about this. At the time when you're playing the game, you really have to think it, especially when you're in what could technically be classed here as a losing scenario. It is not looking like the most optimal board to break here. So here we set something and activate the hidden city. We set, of course, a Guru, and we're going to get a search. The search we get here is for an Strix. Big Strix. So, here, we now have an Strix in hand. We have a Fiendus in hand. We're going to use the effect of Guru to set the Malicious Bane. Now, because we now control no face-ups, we get to summon the Strix. We use the Strix effect to set itself, and then we eventually will... we ask for the stat line on this, and he has a significantly big butt as well. And we are going to struggle to out that as well. So, we eventually will flip the final battle, the face-down trap that we know we have now, flipping the Strix and declaring the effect to banish the Dread Designator. And, that's a start, but it still hasn't got rid of the problem in the room, which is the Malicious Bane. He kind of is the elephant in the room at this point. And of course, you can just flip summon it. Flip summoning it back, which is kind of annoying. We kind of don't want it there. He's kind of big and in the way, and I don't like that. So here he gets to flip summon the Malicious Bane. Shuffles his hand. When they have a big combo board like this, they tend to go through a lot of resources, and they tend to not be able to attempt to follow up. He uses the effect of Malicious Bane. I use the Fiendus to negate it, and of course set the Strix, which will be his demise. The demise will be coming at this point. Once I had the Strix face down again, it kind of became not obvious to what I was doing, but kind of inevitable to what I was doing. So we let him go through with this. He gets the summoning of the Stratos, popping one card, and he opts to pop the Hidden City. Now, I understand this because he was planning to attack, and of course I could have negated it with the Hidden City. So it makes sense that he destroyed the Hidden City here. I could have changed the trap onto it, etc., etc. But it's still a little bit annoying that he keeps popping my back row with Stratos. Stratos is kind of putting in the work here. He's doing his bits. He's served his service this game for sure. Anyway, here he contemplates for a while. We go ahead and final battle a Guru here. I believe giving him the big old stat line of 36 during the damage calc, and he honest Neoses during the damage calc. I believe there was a little bit of a conversation after or before this as to whether any of that could have gone through, but we let it went through at the time. But of course, the Guru search will go on. The search must go on, and we search a Fiendus here. Very nice indeed. And with that, he is pretty much forced to pass turn at this point. He knows that the Stratos can't beat over the face down Ummastrix that I have. We draw for turn, flip the Ummastrix, banishing the Malicious Bane. The elephant in the room has been stomped for sure. And of course we have the Hidden City, and he just scoops right there. We're set up at this point, he has nothing, so that is good. And he made me go first. Big move. When you're playing against a control matchup and you make them go first, you kind of have to fear, you know, the Evenleys, the Lightning Storms, the Twisters, the lot. Fortunately, we set 3 and pass. He e-calls, which we have Ash here, to which he follows up with another spell. I think it's I can't think. But he played it that quick. I couldn't see what it was. It might have been like a reinforcement of the army, to be honest, or another emergency call. Irregardless, it was a searcher, and he gets a Stratos at the end of it, anyways. And with that, you know, I was fearing a similar sort of outcome, you know, banishing the, discarding the Malicious, summoning the Faris, increase, and then, you know, Stratos to pop 3. Which would have happened if we didn't have the There Can Be Only One anyway. So he does actually get the melee off the Faris, you know, because every hero player does. He does get the equipped or spell and trap increase, but with the There Can Be Only One on the board, you kind of can't do much after that. Of course, Faris is a warrior, Increase is a warrior, Mali is a warrior, Stratos is a warrior. Everything in this deck is pretty much a warrior, maybe with the exception of a few things. I think Malicious Bane is a fiend, but the problem I think that the Heroes has against a floodgate like There Can Be Only One is it has another type which it can summon, being like the Malicious Bane and that. But then, you know, you can't link them off into a Nightmare Phoenix because Bane is a fiend and Phoenix is a fiend. So it kind of makes it really hard to where you have to sort of normal summon an Ash or a Draw or something like that, just to attempt to make a Phoenix. Also, you'll get locked into heroes midway through the combo, which makes it even harder. You know, it means you have to wait a turn, etc., etc., just to attempt to make a Phoenix to out that There Can Be Only One, and of course playing against a deck like mine, for it to not be met with a Solemn or something on the summon and you burn resources for no reason. That's why, kids, you should always have main deck spell and trap removal. Even in this day and age, you should still have at least one main deck spell and trap removal, especially with things like Mystic Mime running around, which we aren't running this week, but we usually do. You know, it's an issue and you should really be keeping an eye on it. Here he attacks with the increase, and with that he can't really do anything else, so I don't know what I'm talking about here, but we were talking about something anyway. And the increase will activate. He gets the Adusted Gold discard here, I believe, to search a Dark Calling, is it? Is it Fusion Destiny? No, it's actually Dark Calling, right? So, I fear he's going to make the Malicious Bane here. Don't know why he didn't do this, like, main phase 2. Main phase 1, not going to lie. Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe Malicious Bane isn't a fiend. Pretty sure it is. Might have to Google that again real quick. Anyway, he passes over to me. I draw for turn. It's, of course, coming in clutch exactly when we need it. The pot. We love the pot. We are addicted to pot. Shouldn't really say that on YouTube, but pot of extravagance will let us draw 2 shiny new cards. And we set a mysterious monster, and pass to our opponent, who, you know, still only has this increase at this point, and can't really do too much. You know, There Can Be Only One is so fun to play. It's great. Here is the Darkest Calling in the world. He gets to banish 2 from the grave. Summon out the Mali Bane here. And I think I did check here, and I was like, yes, okay, so that is a fiend. It's definitely a fiend. Because I sort of feared him just making a Nightmare Phoenix and just popping the There Can Be Only One and then going off from there. Because I believe it's Faris or Increase. One of them locks you into heroes for the turn. Irregardless, we have to Solemn Strike for that Malicious Bane. You know, doesn't matter what you have. Here he attacks into the mighty Ash Blossom. The Ash Blossom that was face down this entire time. He thought it was a guru, haha. But it was me, Ash Blossom. Ah, good old JoJo memes. You thought it was an Ash Blossom. Here we get the Hidden City, of course. Now we will get the guru. And we will set and flip, and Guru's effect will go off as well, allowing us to search for a final battle. Again, kids, if you're searching for the final battle, they're either swinging for game, or they've already got the Fiendus. We set one mysterious card, which is totally not the final battle. We just searched. We didn't even shuffle it in hand. That's bad play, Connor. Bad play. Naughty. So he knows that's final battle, but irregardless, you're going to see his final battle at some point anyway. Here he has the Twin Twisters, targeting that there can be only one, and one mysterious... No. Fiendus says no. And that's why we like this deck, because it continues to say no. And we like saying no. You know, he drew the out, he drew the Twisters, we just had the out to the out. He managed to make the Malicious Bane, we had the out for that. And that's what I like about this deck, having the outs for everything. And looking back at this, obviously I've changed the build a lot. This is a slightly older recording of Locals. It's about 2 weeks old, and I've changed the deck a lot since then. Looking back at this, I wonder why I cut Solemn Strike, and I wonder why I cut Super Poly. We will never know. Anyway, final battle will flip the Guru. Guru's effect will search us another copy of No herself. Good old No. We love it. Searching another copy of Subterra Fiendus. And this, I believe, is all on his end phase. So, you know, quality stuff. The fact that you can get searches on the end phase, then draw, is really good. It gets around, like, the... not that it ever comes up, because usually if they've got this, but it gets around like Spiral Drone and stuff from stacking your deck. Just a random sort of interaction that I just came up with. Anyway, we draw a turn. We're going to go ahead and use Guru to set itself and Ash, and we flip with the Hidden City, because we're a bad player, and search ourselves the Umastrix. And with that, I think here we just are a bad player. We use the effect of this to attack, boosting him up to make him huge. Make him huge, Connor. Makes him to 34. Passing over to our opponent, who, you know, probably has gathered resources in the 2 turns, I believe. He's going to start by summoning the Stratotos. And using its effect to search something. He's going to search probably Vion. Yeah, he searches Vion here. But he won't be summoning that, because There Can Be Only One is still there, doing There Can Be Only One things, and that's what we like. We like when it does There Can Be Only One things, which is saying no to your opponent just as much as everything else does. Here on the end phase, we will set ourselves the Guru, triggering the Umastrix from hand. And here we will chain another copy of Final Battle, setting the Umastrix, draw for turn, flip the Umastrix, banishing the copy of Stratos, flip the Guru. We will get a search off it, but I don't even think we need the search at this point. We searched the Archer anyway. I don't even think we summon the Archer, because I think this is game on board as it is. Do we summon the Archer? I am 95% sure we don't even need to summon Archer at this point. We were going to flip the Ash Blossom for the lols, but, you know, we didn't. Yeah, so here we go, I believe, battle phase, attacking with Umastrix, and then boosting his attack and defense to deal a significant amount of damage there, and then attack with Guru and do the same, and that is game. And that is it. We went 3-1 today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We do this every single week on a Monday. Here is our prize support recorded by the lovely Andy Wallace. Shout out time. As the camera was dying, we packed Tenyi. I had no use for it up until this week when I've actually put this in a deck. It decides it wants to yeet itself off the map. We get ourselves a Gren Manju as well. But like I said, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We upload these videos every single Monday. If you've enjoyed me and my commentary, then you should probably hit subscribe. You really should. I'm not very well, I'm very relaxed. I'm taking this video with much calm today. And I kind of enjoyed it. Maybe I take the videos a little bit more calm and less serious, because there's no point being serious. There's no point being serious in this world. And yeah, it's been your boy Screech, guys. Peace!